guys, and welcome to the Spooky Intel podcast. My name is Kylie.
My name is Tawny.
And today we have a very special guest.
Hi, everyone.
This is Corey Armour. Corey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I like spooky things. I do a lot of horror stuff. I like to go to haunted places, watch horror movies, do crazy stuff with demons and other places, whatever it takes, really, to get the thrill.
If you are a local listening in, Corey, you might know who Corey is already. He works downtown at the Hookah Lounge, Sahara Nights. I plan on having people probably listen from there because a lot of people love Corey so much. So basically, today we are going to be talking about a little bit the Smurl Hauntings. Now, Tawny.
Yes.
So this is our very first podcast. We plan on this being our very first podcast. We are still in the process of learning, so we didn't do all of the studying we needed to today. So I will be telling Tawny and Corey the story of the Smurl Hauntings, and we'll just be going in, discussing it, kind of thinking out loud kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, do you, Tawny, specifically for you,
Yes.
we had this conversation previously.
We did.
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
I did not know who she was talking about like 15, 20 minutes
Legends.
ago.
Yeah, at least if you're into
until-
paranormal stuff, if you're into like spooky, exorcisms, I'm sure you've heard of The Conjuring
I have.
and the movie Annabelle.
Yes.
About that creepy ass fucking doll.
It's not creepy at all. Adorable.
Beautiful.
Never talk bad about Annabelle.
The real doll is cuter than what they chose for the movie, I
Factual.
think. But it's supposed to be. It was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So Ed and Lorraine Warren were popularly known for those cases in real life by studying them. Ed was here, let's go. I know we said never trust Wikipedia, but this is pretty standard.
General idea.
Ed was a self-taught and self-professed demonologist, from what I've understood. He wrote books, he was a lecturer, and his wife was a light trance medium who worked closely with her husband, so they were basically ghost hunters. And like I said, like a lot of their big cases is what made them so popular in the paranormal world, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Do you know if he did that like outside of like the film industry? Like he was like
no,
ghost
like
hunting and
that's what they were doing. Like people wrote movies on
based
what they
on
were
what
doing.
were
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Like what? So, sheltered kid here. Hate to say it, but I haven't seen any of these movies. I'm going to. I promise. And it's a shame because I haven't seen any of like the Scream movies.
And I felt
Friday
like
the 13th.
shit for not knowing
I
their names
know.
right
Okay,
off the
my
bat.
grandparents. Let's discuss
Just
this.
kidding.
We
Hello?
have in our
I get it. I
in
get
our
it.
practice run. I literally said my grandparents didn't want to go to Disneyland,
I
and
couldn't
that
watch
travel.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because I would get kidnapped, kind of shit. So
Yeah.
like I was very, very sheltered. So I wasn't allowed to watch this stuff. Don't blame me. I was
I get
lucky I
it.
got to see Jeepers Creepers. At
I'm
least I've
blaming
seen
you
that.
now.
I know.
You
Okay.
now
no,
have had
I
the
know,
opportunity.
I know. I just don't. Finally, I'm gonna take a day. I'm gonna watch all those movies. I have
So
all
good.
of the Scream movies saved on HBO, so I'm gonna sit down on my next day off that I'm not doing anything, and watch all those movies.
They're awesome. Bring me back
gonna-
in for
I'm-
the Scream episode.
I will do it. I will do it. I will watch all of them. But anyway, back to my original point. So a lot of those movies, like I'm pretty sure The Conjuring actually featured like Lorraine Warren, or didn't it have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was gonna
all
say
the
you guys
Conjuring
have
movies
seen
actually
those
have,
movies. So
Yeah.
yeah,
like
no,
the actors being portrayed, yeah.
yeah. So like, but these were real people that did real ghost hunting per se. I mean, I have heard a couple stories here and there about like Amityville Horror was one of their cases.
Okay.
That's been debunked, I think, though.
Yeah.
Since then. So it's not really because of the fact that, my personal opinion, yeah, they're legends. Don't get me wrong. I'm not discrediting the fact that they are basically royalty in, like, the world of paranormal things, ghosts, whatever. But I do think that the fact that he was self-proclaimed, because a lot of these demonologists, like, I don't know how you get certified, but they're, like, certified. From what I'm understanding.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I mean, you kind of have to be self-proclaimed.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go to,
Like, let me take this class.
You're not like, I'm going to Michigan State for demonology.
Yeah.
It's just not a thing.
I guess you're right. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's more to it, though. Like, there are actual trained people training other people on it kind of
Probably.
thing. Like, these people, like, they basically, like, he taught himself everything, and then his wife was a light trance medium, so that means that she kind of like almost like what is it called? A friend of mine is one of these, a psychic sensitive kind of thing. So they can feel paranormal shit, see paranormal shit. I'm sure because she was more of like a medium, she saw ghosts or per se or heard them. I don't know. I need to do more research. Like I said, I need to watch the movies because
even dreams though, like I've heard like they'll have these very vivid, real dreams, like where it's like they're trying to wake up. It's almost like kind of like sleep paralysis, but they're actually, they know that like they're aware, they're awake, and they're dealing with those like demons and those spirits. Like that's just crazy.
Well, that's why the story kind of intrigued me, is because I asked Corey, on the way here, I was like, have you ever heard of the Smurl Hauntings? And what was your answer?
Nope.
Which is crazy to me because, I didn't find a whole lot on this, but, like, some crazy shit happened in this house. And, like, it's so insane to me that this never, like, I think there was one movie made out of it, but, like, The Conjuring has, like, how many fucking movies? A lot. Like,
Conjuring,
it's a series.
Yeah, The Conjuring, Annabelle, The Nun are all one series, and it's The Haunting of La Lorena
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
It's all one.
I don't know if those are they
series.
all related in a way?
Yeah.
Were they related in real life? Does anybody know?
No idea. Annabelle and Conjuring, probably.
I'll
The
look
other
that- I'll
ones,
look into
don't know.
Insidious is kind of similar to it.
I'll look
though.
into that.
Yeah.
I was doing a little research on the Perrin family. I don't know if you guys have heard that one, but that story's crazy too. That was apparently a witch was cursed the land there, so anybody who lived there died like a shitty death. So that's a different story for a different day.
What a mean old lady.
Yeah, I couldn't even find like actual information on her too, so that's what I'm saying. Different story, different day. Back to the Smurl Hauntings. Okay, so this was in like the 70s, 80s era. It lasted 10 years.
Okay.
And the fact that it lasted 10 years blows my mind because, like, why wouldn't you move before then? That was, like, a big question that came up several times. Like I said, I'm kind of going off of this because I did a horrible job preparing and I only wrote half of my notes. So I have a very, very detailed first half, and then we're going to be going off of my information that I have in front of me, kind of reading here and there. So this family, it was Janet and Jack Smurl. They moved into this duplex home in West Pittston, Pennsylvania, in 1974. And from what I'm aware of, the hauntings started almost immediately. It was basically endless. Like, apparently they claim that this premises was disturbed by a demon, and this family was super religious. They went to church on every Sunday,
How many
kind of
kids did
thing.
they have?
Four.
Four.
Yep, 4. So from what I looked into, the demon would do, like, it caused loud noises, bad odors would appear. At one point, the dog was thrown into a wall. The family dog was thrown into a wall, yep. Their TV apparently burst into flames. Their toilets flushed themselves. One of the girls, their daughter, was pushed down the stairs. And in almost every single reading that I found, the demon sexually and physically assaulted these people. too. This is all in the span of 10 years.
And they just stayed there.
And they just
stayed there.
decided to stay.
So they had multiple...
They're like, this is fun.
this is entertaining.
Yeah, right?
Besides that toilet
well,
always
so-
going off, this is
What I
fun.
found interesting, remember, I said this was a duplex. So this is like a double, you guys, obviously. For anybody who doesn't know what a duplex is a home where basically 2 families can live in. You can do either, most of them that I'm aware of, they're upstairs in a downstairs duplex, but there are side-by-sides. And from what I gathered, I probably can find a picture and we can have Cole post it here on the background. I can send it to him. But
Did the
from what
other
I'm
side
aware of,
the duplex
it's like
feel
a...
it? Like
That's
feel
all-
So
the-
that's
It's
the
also a good
interesting
question.
thing. It was like a haunting of a home, not the house, not like the house itself, but it was haunting the home. And the interesting thing is they had like in the year that the assaults were happening, like the horrible shit, they had their home exorcised like 50 times. And from what I read, the demon would jump from one home to another. And that's how it would avoid
Go
being
back and forth.
exorcised. Yeah, so just basically jumping back and forth.
Is there another like family living here? Or
I don't know. I
it
know,
just like
no.
a
I tried
once-
to find
once-
like
once
I
a
go to
month,
get the
like,
morning
I tried
paper
to
and you're
something
just like,
happens
did you
to them?
feel that last night? Like, did you
I tried to
did your
find
dog get
something
fun against
because
the
that
Yeah.
was
your
interesting
cat?
to me. Like, how does the other family next door not hear a fucking dog?
Maybe they're
Can you
old,
imagine like
they're-
or a
hearing on the
TV
other
explode on fire?
Yeah, like can you imagine being on
just
the other side of
accepted at
that
that
wall
point.
hearing these things? Like,
Maybe they were friendly to them.
I guess like claw marks used to appear on the walls and shit too. So it's like, what did they think on the other side?
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
a
would definitely
family of
have
like
to be banging
6
on the door.
Yeah. So, before long, full-bodied apparitions would appear above their beds, and then there was a ghoul that the family named the Old Hag was seen walking through the walls.
I just have to say it. I really like the word hag. Like, I don't know why. It's just so funny to me. We're like, oh, they're just such a hag. Or like this old hag. Or this hag.
It's kind of
person.
actually low-key a
like-
good insult when you think
It's
about it.
so
Like,
funny because it's not like
if
you're
I
calling them old, and it's not like you're just like you look ugly. It's just like you're a hag. And it's like
if you went up to the
This is
bar
great.
and called a girl a hag, she would...
I'm doing my
Deck
job right.
You should expect to be killed on sight.
Oh, for sure.
And here I am.
That's
just
why
like,
it's
you did your
low-key,
job right.
like, the best insult. Oh, my God. Realization. Wow, I'm going to use that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Just had to say that.
Apparitions above the bed though are the worst. Let me tell you what.
Back to the
Let me tell
story,
you
yeah.
that.
And okay, I'm not saying that I found this anywhere, but if it were me, sleep paralysis all day and night, dude.
No, I don't.
There's no way. Like, how
I
the
hate it.
That's
I
what
get
would.
it every now and then.
Oh, I've never experienced it. Thank
Mhm.
God.
It's not not fun.
I smoke a lot of Delta 8, which is legal in the state of South Dakota. And
I want you to keep the
it
long
helps
pause in
me.
there. During the edit, we need to keep the long pause in there. Maybe even make it longer.
no, we could just leave it as it is. No, but I smoke that before bed, and it helps me not dream. It helps me not, just helps me pass the fuck out. And that's why, is because I don't want to deal with that shit, because I know it will happen if I
no,
don't.
it fucking
so.
sucks. I will say that.
Can't
for
do
sure.
it.
It's so scary, and you're trying to wake yourself up, and like you're freaking out. Like there was one night I was like, me and Taylor were in the same bed, and
Taylor
I'm, like,
is her niece.
my niece. And she's like, I wake up to her like hovering over me, and she's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, and I was breathing hard because it was like I was trying to jerk myself over because I was like suffocating myself because I saw something coming near me and its hands were like hovering over me and I could not wake myself up. And so apparently Taylor said it looked like my face was literally in the bed and my body's just shaking and I'm breathing really hard. And she's like, it was so creepy because I'm just like, and I'm like, she just sees my face pressed down into the bed. And so I wake up freaking out and she's just like, "Are you good?" And I'm like, "I'm good now."
That would have scared me more.
Freak
Someone
me
waiting
out.
right there.
Right. And knowing
I'd have been
Taylor,
like,
too.
"Oh, it's all over
Yeah,
now."
I
And then
was
you
like, "Are
turn
you
and it's just a
okay?"
Yeah, like,
She
person.
just goes right back to bed, and I was like, "It's fine."
Yep, and that's why I try to not dream, because I cannot. That's terrifying.
I dream every time I go to bed.
Okay.
Every time.
So the Old Hag. Love that
Go
word.
on.
The Old Hag, she apparently was either the demon or there was another demon that sexually assaulted both Jack and Janet. And, like, that was the year. Some 50 exorcisms were performed in the house, but they didn't stop until they moved out of the house. So, trying to find...
Like, that's just so freaky. Could you, like, you're just, like, laying there and all of a sudden you're like, something's going on and your husband is just right next to you, sound asleep, and you're like, what is this? Like, I don't know. I've never experienced that. It's just, like, how... I don't know. What am I trying to say here? Like...
I don't know what
Like,
are
how
you
do you
trying to
tell
say?
Like,
your
how-
partner that it's happening?
Well, no, not how do you tell your partner. Like, it's just more so, like, how do you know it's, like, happening? Like, you're...
Yep.
This, anyways.
We're moving on. I get what you're trying to say. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I don't need a detail. I was just, like, in my head thinking, I don't know.
It's just, like, crazy to me, though. Like, nobody's heard of this story.
Mhm.
Because you don't hear about... I mean, I don't hear about common stories involving stuff like that. Like, the only time I've ever heard of, like, anything close to, like, a ghost, it's a human-like thing, is, like, a scary movie. And that's not a scary movie.
Well, like I told you the other night, like, on TLC, like, the TV network, there was, like, this girl who talked about how she, like, moved into this lighthouse, I believe. And she said that there was, like, this spirit, and I don't know if she was, like, a medium. I think there was some kind of connection with the, like, spiritual, like, aspect. But anyways, so she was saying how she sensed that there was, like, a spirit there, and it was a pirate from, like, years and years and years ago. And she could feel that, like, he wanted more with her. So she married him. Like, she had somebody, like, officiate their wedding. She was, like, literally standing outside by the, like, water, and they officiated this wedding, and she, like, had a name for him, but she said that they would have sex. Like, she didn't get in detail or anything, but she's just like, yeah, like, we have sex. I speak with him. His name is blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I'm crazy.
And I'm not, like, invalidating that didn't happen, because I totally fucking believe that there are paranormal things, and I'm not, like... I'm not dogging
No,
on
I'm
it.
not denying it.
No,
It's just kind of
no. That's
crazy
not what
'cause it's
I'm.
just
That's not
like-
what I'm saying. I don't want anybody to, like, be listening to this and thinking that we're trying to, like, insinuate that it wasn't real or
No.
anything, because, like, that.
That's
you
why
know,
I'm
that's
saying
traumatic.
I'm curious as
Yeah.
to, like, that's
Yeah.
intense.
That's that's a seriously traumatic thing, and, like, I was actually, like, listening to a podcast. I couldn't get far in because, oh my god, the ads were unbelievable. There was so many ads and so much just, like, little small talk. I tried so hard, but they had the daughter, one of the daughters, I think her name was, like, Carol, on their podcast, and so I heard a little bit about, some of the stuff that did happen, like, not Ed, that's the ghost hunter. What's his name? Jack. He apparently was also, like, pulled from the bed at one point, like, dragged from the bed and, like, thrown by his neck into, like, a wall and stuff like that. Like, this family had some crazy shit happen to them.
They stayed.
Yeah, that's the thing is I don't get is, like, if it stopped when they moved, like, why didn't they try that when the first 30 exorcisms didn't work? Why did the next think that the next, like, 40 would?
Yeah.
Because obviously it wasn't working. Like, that bitch was jumping from house to house, home to home, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, if they were renting, I'd be like, I'm getting on at least. I'm freaking leaving. Like, I'm packing up. But if you buy the house, then I'm, like, sure. Then
Well,
it's
it's
like,
a duplex, though, so they were
Mhm.
probably renting
Well, yeah.
it.
But what I'm saying is, like, if it was, like, a case where they, like, bought the house
Oh, yeah.
and they put money into it, it's just like, well, we gotta take this shit.
Like Haunting of Hill House shit.
Yeah.
but imagine being like, please help us out, and the exorcist comes over, and you're like, cool, thanks, we're gonna go get the motel for the night.
Yeah.
No, the exorcism, they actually did have a, okay, we got cut off there a little bit. What I was saying was I will say that I did find a couple, like, pages that does think that this case might be a little bit of a hoax, more so on Ed and Lorraine's end than on the Smurl family's end, because I, like, totally believe that, like, you know, if they actually had like trauma from this, like I don't know. I don't think somebody would make
Mm-hmm.
that kind of trauma up when dealing with
I
a
would
big
just
case
love to
like
see like
that.
interviews, and like you would think like with stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why
And
I'm
going
like,
through those things, they'd have done like some
How
sort
is
of
this
like
not more?
documentation of it.
Mhm.
Like,
Exactly.
I mean, it's probably not proven though. That's why it's not more of a known story.
yeah.
Okay,
Well, I
but
mean,
like,
it makes sense to an
Amityville
extent.
Horror had like how many movies?
2.
Exactly, more than this. No, there was like a whole series. I thought.
No.
Are you sure? Because when I was doing my research, I swear. Oh,
No, I'm pretty sure there's only 2, the original and the remake.
what am I thinking of? Maybe I'm just thinking of the Conjuring movies.
The remake has Ryan Reynolds of the Amityville Horror.
I love Ryan Reynolds.
You can go to that house now. Stay the night.
Beautiful, beautiful man.
You can do that with the Twilight House too. I'm more interested in
You
that.
can't stay the night at the Salvatore house, but you can go there and take pictures outside of it.
True.
There's a lot of Amity. Look at these are all Amityville movies.
Nothing that says Amityville 3D should ever be a movie.
I'm just saying.
Discontinue that one now.
All I'm
I feel like
saying
3D movies are a waste
is this
of
was
money.
debunked.
Changed my mind.
This was apparently debunked, and there's like look at this. There's like a million. Okay, not a million, but there's like quite a few Amityville movies.
It's a great story.
But what I'm saying is, like, if those movies were debunked, yet there's like a bunch of movies about them, I'm surprised that this hasn't been like picked up
I think it's the
anywhere other than just.
I think it's
one
the
movie.
story aspect of it.
Well, apparently, like I said, like a pastor apparently stayed there for 3 nights, and the entire time that he was staying there, nothing happened. He exorcised the house, but like nothing happened while he was staying there overnight. And
So the spirits like
I don't know.
could have just like carried with them wherever they went, rather than like the house that they were at.
See, that's what I'm wondering though, because apparently when they moved, it stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into Ed and Lorraine's role. So I'm trying to find kind
Yeah,
of.
were they like the last to try to exercise
kind
or
of,
something?
yeah. I don't know if they just like heard about it and got interested in it or whatever, or if the family reached out to them. I think they reached out to the family from what I kind of read.
I was gonna say that sounds more.
I need to do more research. I'm sorry, guys. I'm the worst. So, actually, yeah, no, the family actually reached out, apparently. The family brought in a pair of demonologists, Ed and Lorraine Warren, which we know who they are. According to Ed, the demon that inhabited their home was super powerful, and it shook the mirrors and furniture. Because the family would play religious music and they would pray, and it would piss the demon off. So that's probably why it fucked them up so many times and threw their dog into a wall. It's because they got tired of that music. I'm not gonna lie, I feel the same about Christian music. I would never throw a dog into a wall, but
Depends.
I get it. I'm not gonna.
Skillet is a Christian man.
No, we're not. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. Okay, so yeah, I can understand the religious music and prayer, because not the prayer, more so the religious music. It's just too cheesy, dude.
I mean, but if you're gonna get that angry over religious music, why not do stuff with the priest in the house?
no. The family was doing that.
Right, but you
Yeah,
said the
but if-
demon got angry when they played religious music and stuff.
No, that makes sense.
So when you bring in the actual priest to stay 3 nights, wouldn't that be
You would
like more
think.
upsetting?
I don't know. I feel like demons aren't stupid. We know that. So my thought process on that is that like they knew what the fucking priest was there to do, and so just kept low, kept quiet, and make the family seem crazy. That I wouldn't put it past a demon to think that way, per se. This is melting.
I was like, you doing okay over there?
Is it really this hot in here? This is like melting, or is it? It might be because it's sitting on my laptop too. So, let's look.
Cool.
How effective would you say, like, I mean, even if you haven't experienced it, but like, how effective do you think that exorcism would actually be? Because, like, I don't think it's effective.
Haven't we were talking about this on the way here? Haven't you been in an exorcised house,
Yeah.
Corey? Can you tell us about that experience a little bit?
The one of the worst experiences I've ever had. Yeah, there was a house in town that had like 4 or 5 exorcisms done inside of it. And when we all went, we were like, we have to go see the table. Because apparently the table was still there. And we were like, yeah, we have to go take pictures and everything. And we never made it close to the table. Never made it close to even where the table was before a lady out of nowhere, apparition came out of nowhere and like started cutting us up. Clothes were torn. We were all bleeding and limping out of the house. I mean, it's rough. It's really rough.
For real. This happened for real.
Yeah.
Story. Yeah, he's told me this story.
Yeah.
I've not heard this story.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
were you guys like all in such a tight group when you were walking in?
Yeah, we had like,
Was it
I think it was,
nighttime?
it was nighttime, 5 or 6 of us. Right when we discovered it, we went in through the back door and started to walk. And as soon as we made it to like the living room, all the flashlights that we had, out instantly. And then like the picture fell, one of the pictures fell, and all of us kind of laughed. Because we're like, wow, what a spooky trope that is, you know? Like, you walk in and the picture falls. So we put it back up, like, still laughing about it. And then it flew across the room. And that was when the laughter kind of stopped. And then the table in the room went all the way across the side. And that was when the laughter really stopped. And then when,
So who was attacked first?
one of my buddies was, I was like 3rd in line out of the 5 or 6. It was
Third in line.
Yeah, so I got to watch too before I got hit with it. But yeah,
That's rough.
yeah, we saw like an apparition of a lady walk down the hallway, and then she was just gone. And the next thing you know, we were just all starting to drop to the floor in pain. Multiple scratches, bleeding, limping. Yeah, I got out of there as fast as we could. Never went for a round 2.
No,
So exorcisms, we have proof sitting right in front of us that exorcisms don't always work.
Yeah, on a person, maybe. On a house, no. No, I don't think
yeah,
so.
like at that
That's what I
point,
was
just
gonna say with
abandon the
homes.
fucking property. Like,
Yeah.
don't sell it to anybody. Just buy it just to have, and just don't step on
Yeah.
it ever.
Well, when
keep
you-
keep
Yeah,
society
that house
safe.
did get demolished here, so
that's good.
we're good on that.
But when
See,
you
there you
said that
go.
you guys were just dropping, like, was it because like you felt like something was like taking you out, or you just
Yeah.
kinda felt like you were just like weak?
No, it's because we felt like claws and like sharp nails literally
Oh my God.
going in and scratching you.
I was just gonna say, because if it was like an emotion aspect, I think it was the Blair Witch Project, like where they would go into like a certain part of the house and they would just instantly feel sad.
That's how we
I
felt.
think it was Blair Witch Project.
That's how we felt when like you drove past that house and that like property. Every time we would like go past it, you would start to feel like sick, and you always knew where you were. You always knew you were right by the house. Luckily, not there anymore.
Yeah. I honestly don't know what I would do. I'd be freaking out. I'd probably
Yeah,
have
we.
nightmares.
Yeah, it's not fun.
So let's reel it back in. We're gonna reel it back in right now.
Reel back in.
Reel it back in. So Ed himself. Okay, so I was wrong when I said that Jack was thrown into a wall by his neck. He was just drugged from the bed, from what I'm reading. It was Ed Warren that was actually thrown into the wall by his neck. So this apparently actually did happen to him. And from another thing on here, they did like audio tape recordings at night, or I guess not even at night, just in general, and lots of knocking and rapping, like, you know, like scratching or whatever. A lot of that was apparently caused by the demon. And like, he stated that when he would walk into the house, like, he'd feel the temperature just drop. And, like, he even saw a dark mass, like, form at one point. And what it's saying here, too, this is where I'm skeptical a little bit on this story, just because you see this in every horror movie, almost, that involves mirrors. And it's apparently the demon wrote "Get Out" on a mirror to him at at one point. That's why I'm just kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like, could have happened, but that's also really, like, cliche, too, in a way, you know?
It's a funny thing to laugh at until it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I would ever have the balls to walk into, like, a house like that. Like, at your age now, would you do that again?
Maybe. If I had the right people with me, then yeah.
How old were you when that happened, probably?
19-ish.
Okay. Yeah,
just
so
out of high school.
Young and dumb. Very
Yeah.
young and dumb.
Corey's like, I'll do it. And I'd do it again.
I mean, yeah, if I had the right, like, team with me, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. It's still...
Maybe they'd like snacks.
By myself now.
I just think of the possibility of something following me everywhere, which we will get to something
Carrying
on that.
with you.
We'll touch base with that later.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing. I just smell Reese cups.
I've been eating a lot of candy today. Sorry.
There's probably some in my teeth.
It's that time of the month. I'm very open with stuff. We're all going to learn that about me.
Ours are in sync. Can you not bring that up because it's going to be happening?
Oh, God.
Corey's just like, get me the fuck out of here.
Stuck in the middle.
So, obviously, I am very open with a lot of my views. Thanks, Cole.
More chocolate.
And yeah, this is the only time I ever really eat sweets. Is this time, and I literally have like 4 wrappers of Reese's cups in front of me and like 2 Kit Kats. So
I had a
it's
Kit Kat
the first
Reese
day
cup
too.
sandwich.
So pray for me. Okay, let's go back. So apparently, on this article that I'm reading, no matter where the family went, the strange occurrences persisted, and the spirits were not wavered by the family's like attempts to rid themselves. So, Ed and Lorraine Warren actually apparently just didn't do anything. They tried their best kind of thing, but they just like weren't successful from what I'm gathering of this, because they at one point sought out the help of Cardinal Ratzinger, who helped them contact the Vatican Church in Rome, which it's a big deal.
I was gonna say,
It's
like,
a very
all the way
big
in
deal.
Rome.
Yeah, no, that's a very big deal for that to happen. And an exorcist came from there.
Do they have to pay for airfare? Like all the way from.
I wasn't
fucking
there. I
Rome?
don't know. I don't know.
Crazy.
An exorcist came, and he performed the ritual of Romano, and on the home, and the ritual was usually only used for personal possession, but this was a rare case. Are you okay, buddy?
Yeah, he's fine.
Need the Heimlich?
Dude, your face is so red. I feel like we need to call 911. Are you sure?
We're like, we
It's like
won't
the
help
same-
you. We'll
it's
just
the
call
same-
911.
It's like the same color as your t-shirt right now.
Choke on my own spit, we're good.
Couldn't handle the ritual of Ray Romano.
Okay.
Hey.
Sorry, pause. Had to make sure our fucking...
Got him with the Ray Romano
Yeah, I
joke.
had to make
Who
sure
would
our
have
fucking
known?
producer wasn't dying behind camera really quick.
Just a
So
dying
he's
pig over
okay
here.
now. He's okay now. No worries. Drink some water, Jesus.
More
Like-
chocolate.
So you're sucking on your thumb. You're sucking on his gut.
Perfectly
This
fine.
is not called roast Cole hour. Let's go
No.
back. He doesn't even have a mic to defend himself. Leave him alone.
Not yet, he doesn't.
Okay. So, yeah, apparently that worked too. That ritual worked on the house, and they
So
went
it
back
only
to a normal
started
life.
when they moved in. Like all that stuff happened when they moved
Apparently.
into that duplex. Okay. Because I just wonder, like, if I know that they were like a strong Christian, like oriented, like household, but like, what if like the kids or something played with a Ouija board or something, and those like spirits carried with them,
And I didn't find anything on that, but I mean, shit like that is a possibility.
Those things are ages 7 and up.
They are dangerous
Isn't
as
that
shit.
freaking crazy?
I find it
Yeah,
hilarious.
what the fuck? Like, cool, here, Timmy, have a fucking Ouija board. You're only like 7. You're fine. Go hang out with your demons.
Before the speak and spell, there was Ouija boards to
My
learn
sister
words.
had one, and it like she tried to throw it out several times, and it always managed to end up back in her closet.
That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Guessing you guys don't own one then?
Nope.
It reminds me of. Do you remember Goosebumps?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever read that one with like the puppet?
Yes. Oh
And
my
the puppet
gosh.
always came back, even
Mhm.
though he tried to throw him away. Did you read
The
those?
puppet.
Fucking creepy.
Did you read in high school?
Didn't know how.
No, I'm just saying. Like, some people didn't like to read. Like,
I didn't know if puppet meant like the Night of the Living Dummy series from Goosebumps or if it was a different one.
No.
But what do I know? I can't read.
Oh my god.
I are too stupid.
oh, I'm so.
That's why I play with ghosts.
They teach
That's
me
not
things.
what I meant.
Yeah.
Some kids just didn't like to read. I didn't know if you liked to read.
Hard
or not.
operating the Ouija board when you can't read. Name's
Fuck,
know
my
either.
bad. Jeez.
J-O-Y.
What are they saying to me? Pie? They want some pie.
Okay. All right. So in conclusion, the Smurl family apparently got rid of their demons.
They
Good.
got rid of the
At
demons.
least they got it. I wish it was that easy, man.
You just
Apparently
gotta get
it wasn't.
somebody
I
from
guess you
Rome.
gotta live there for like 10 years.
You
I
gotta,
guess.
yeah, you gotta have
Eventually
the
get someone
serious
from
guy
Rome
from Rome
coming.
to come.
God, seriously, like, because I'm living with my demons forever because I don't have a fucking. I can't reach the fucking Vatican Church. I don't know how. Your wife is Catholic. Does she have an in?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Respect.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. Yeah, honestly, like there really wasn't much to that case. Like there wasn't a whole lot of like. I just kind of wanted to tell it because it kind of fits in with what story Corey is going to tell us. I cannot talk. It's starting again. But it was interesting, and it's a story that Corey has not heard of. So, which is very rare. I don't know. It's hard to, I feel like, surprise you with spoopy poopy stuff.
I like spoopy.
Spoopy stuff. Spoopy. Okay. So now we are actually gonna let Corey dive into his story. And we will discuss it, dissect, whatever, maybe. But we're gonna let you take the reins, buddy.
Let me tell you how great it is, too, that my story involves me reading a book after all that.
I know, right? I
Can
totally
we-
forgot.
Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, no, right?
Yeah.
Totally forgot. No,
Yeah. Did you read ever?
dude.
What's your story? It's about a book I read.
I know, right? I'm such a dick. God.
Freaking great.
Sorry. Sorry.
What did I sign up for over here?
Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
So, we're not going to disclose any information about the book.
No.
It is, I do believe that it's a bad thing. We're not going to let anybody, be submitted to the things that Corey is going
It's
to
in
tell
my
us
car.
about. It's in your fucking car.
Yeah, it's in my car. My wife won't let me have that inside.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, I do not fucking blame her. Yeah, no, I mean, Cass says the same thing about Ouija boards.
Yeah.
He would never be in the house if I brought it in, so kind of thing, which it would never happen, but
Why do you have it though?
Well,
Oh, we'll dive into
he's not
that.
going to get rid of it. Like,
yeah.
that'd be
It's-
dumb.
It's too cool.
So
I'm a little dumb.
what I was saying is we're not going to, the book is the book. We're not going to actually, announce the title. We're not going to announce the author. If you're really that interested, I guess listen to what we're talking about and see if you can
Do some
Google
research.
something and do your own research, but we are not going to help you ruin your life, basically. I mean, I'm not saying
yeah,
I'm
my life's ruined.
I'm sorry, I'm not
I
trying.
can't read and have no life.
Sorry, I'm not trying to roast you over here. No, what I'm saying, not ruin your life, but like, you have to admit you lived with some shit for a while after you read that
it
book.
was a little bit of a rough patch, but
I don't
It's
want anybody.
okay
I
now.
don't want anybody to have
Yeah.
to deal with that.
but
Like,
it's okay now.
like my boyfriend, he has a story having to do with an experience with you, and he won't tell me what it is because he doesn't want to be reminded of it because he doesn't want the shit to start happening again.
Does he get scared?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
still.
yeah. Her
We got
man's
into a fight
kind of a
'cause he wouldn't
wuss
tell me.
when it comes to this stuff.
Oh, he's terrified. But I got him to go through a haunted house with me last year, so we're moving on up in the world.
Yeah,
you
it's
go.
He was
got
at
to
the
start
mall,
somewhere.
But it was fine. Anyway,
Yeah. So there's a book out there, where it's banned.
Is it paperback or is it hard?
Paperback.
I was
At
like,
least
is it hard?
Yeah, it's hard to read for me. It's a paperback book.
that's what she said.
Mine's paperback. Yeah, the book is banned in a lot of countries, and bookstores won't sell it because people have bought it and returned it the next day saying that their house was haunted. So, after doing research on it, I found out that the author went missing as well from the book, and when his college roommate went into the dorm, there was a message on his computer that just said, "Soon I will be gone. Make sure this gets published," which is kind of weird. And so they did. They got the book published.
Did they ever find him?
Nope. Man is still missing to this day.
Probably dead.
Maybe.
Or in the fucking Twilight Zone.
Floating around with all the other doors. But it's a collection of 131 short horror stories, and all of them are really good. It's a really good read. But the last story in the book is what got it banned, and it dives in. It's almost like a conversation. It's not even like a story, where you're basically doing these steps and talking out loud and everything like that to try to persuade something to happen. It's basically this guy wants to show and prove to you that magic is real and that he can do real magic. And so after a while, my mom bought me for it for Christmas. So thanks, Mom.
She's going to be watching this later.
She's going to be like, what did I do to him?
She's going to be like, oh, man, I ruined his life.
Yeah. He can't read because of me.
God.
But the very first step in the story was just you had to be alone. And the first part of it was kind of like a lot of just kind of laughable, like cliches in a sense, like make sure you're alone, make sure your door's closed, and make sure there's only one source of light. Like we recommend using a candle. It's a whole bunch of like, yeah, okay, like, all right, sure, I'll do this, you know.
And you did it.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, why wouldn't you?
But yeah, so it takes you through this little like dialogue where you're basically this guy's talking to you about proving the magic's real, make sure you're alone and everything. And then a very interesting part was you're not only doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for the people who have done it before you and the people that'll do it after you. And at that moment in my 3-seat couch, I saw both couches, seats kind of sink in, and I could feel a hand on each shoulder of mine. And I was like, maybe I'm just going crazy. Like, it'll be fine. Keep chugging along. And so you had to turn the light off in the room. Easy, done. And then it said to put your ear up to the door. And as soon as I did that, you could hear someone trying to whisper something. I couldn't make out any words. It just sounded like a faint voice basically coming through the door. And after like 2 minutes, it just stopped. And I was like, okay, weird. And then go back to my book. And it's like, could you hear me through the door? It's like, I bet you can't now because I'm now waiting for you to talk to me. And I was like, oh, okay. This is, everything's kind of weird. It's just falling into place here. But it was like, say that you can hear me. And so in my head, because I'm reading it, right? I say it in my head. And then the very next line is no out loud. And I was like, that's also kind of crazy, but all right, let's do it. And the very last step of this story was you had to invite him in. You had to say he can come in. That's all you need to do. That's why the door's not locked. Dude. That's why everything is like placed the way it is you just have to invite him in. And so I said yes.
You literally invited
whatever
demon
this
into your
was. We don't
house.
know if it was a demon or is whatever this
Well, I
was.
mean, like that. I am the type of person to jump to worst case scenario. So literally, like whenever I hear you tell this story, I'm like, he literally asked this demon to fuck his fucking shit up.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like, you asked for it. You invited
Yeah.
him in.
Yeah.
Like anybody who reads a fucking vampire novel knows that the first rule is you have to invite them in.
Mm-hmm.
Once you invite them in, you're fucked.
It's hard though, like reading this
And
normal
you're just
like
how
story.
accurate is this?
Like,
You
is
had
it real
already
or not?
See,
Yeah.
in my brain, you had already been like had like that thought twice where you were like, all right, this is
Yeah,
kinda,
it was-
It's a bit of
it was-
a thrill. Like,
Yeah, at the same
kinda-
time. It was odd, but I was like, maybe maybe the story is written this way so that your mind does play tricks on you,
Mhm.
Maybe you are supposed to like your brain is going to start hearing something or anything
Yeah.
like that. So we had to go on. And so I said yes, and I said you can come in. And then it was just like a weird silence in the room for a bit. And so I turned on my light and was just kind of like, yeah, nothing's happening. This will be fine. Like, just a good story. Till I sat down on my couch. Like when you look at the TV before it's on, you can see the reflection of everything behind you.
Yeah.
So in my room, there was a refrigerator, full-size refrigerator in there. And it was gone in the reflection. And there was just a tall man in a suit, completely blacked out face, no facial expression whatsoever, just staring down at me, just looking at me on the couch. And I turned around and the fridge was there.
Can you describe him at all? Like what he looked like?
6-footish, literally like in a full suit, pants, everything, hat with no eyes, nose,
What
mouth,
kind of hat?
nothing.
Like baseball
Was it like a
hat,
top hat?
cowboy hat?
No,
top
it's like
hat,
a
newsboy hat.
It's a good way to describe it.
Newsboy hat.
No, kind of like like the mask where you like has that like
Fedora. Like a fedora?
kind of, but more fancy.
Oh my god, I think I know the.
Not like
Like
a full,
like a pirate kind of hat?
maybe.
Like a sailor's hat or something? Anyway, that's not the point. I'm just trying to kind of set the idea.
He
for
looked like
people.
like a 20s to 40s like nice businessman or mobster, one of those type of guys.
Oh, okay, mobster. Okay. I
Like
have-
those hats. Now that
Yeah,
I've said
yep,
that,
yep, mhm.
yeah.
I can get what I'm picturing
Well, just based
him
off
better.
of the appearance, it reminds me of that one story based off the book that they did on Netflix about like this kid like that opened up this book that his mom got him for his birthday, and he's like reading it, and all of a sudden everything's like happening in the house, what was like in the story, and like the person that appeared literally fits that description, so that freaks me out a little bit.
So like,
And I
what's it
know what
called?
Yeah, you know what it's called?
But
I know of a book that does that.
Oh, the Babadook?
Babadook, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was thinking of that book series Inkheart because that's the thing too. But
No.
that's not here.
Babadook is a real thing.
That is, yeah.
But yeah, and so I turn back around, look at the TV again, the refrigerator's back, and I'm like, all right, cool. Mine's going crazy. Something else now in my room is now gone, and there he is again, staring directly like down at me, his head tilted. And that's when like the panic kind of set in, and I was like, there's no way. Let's just turn on TV. Let's watch a movie. Let's do whatever we can, right? So full lights on, watching a movie in bed, and this thing would not let me sleep for like 2 days. Every time I would go to lay in bed, all of a sudden the blankets are gone. I can feel something grabbing at my leg. Something's moving in the room. Something's being pushed over, anything like that. And that's when I started to call people. Started calling good friends when the panic set in. And I went to like hang out with a good buddy. And we were driving from work back to his house. And as he goes to pull into his driveway, slams on his brakes. And all of us are like, what is going on? And he's like, there's a guy standing in my driveway that just walked off into the distance, right?
Did you have them read the book?
No. And so I'm sitting there with them, and I'm like, oh, no, that's not good. Like, this thing followed me, right? And I'm like, please tell me it's not what I think it is. And as we go into the house, we open up the door, and in the living room, there he is, standing there, staring at all of us. And I was like, oh, no. Oh, no. Now they're all involved. And as soon as we went to take a step into the house, he just turned, started walking, gone, vanished. So now I'm like, uh-oh. And they're all yelling at me now because they know now when it comes to spooky stuff that I'm the culprit. So now I'm the bad guy for whatever reason. But yeah, and then a couple days later, another one of my friends saw him in the backseat of his Jeep as they were driving off from my house, and it lasted probably a couple months where we would just see him around, and he wouldn't really do anything, wouldn't touch anyone, wouldn't harm anyone or move anything in particular, but was just kind of always there, just like staring. And so I went with well, if I just don't acknowledge him, then he's not there, right? And after a couple months, he went away, and I haven't seen him since.
Oh, that's good. How long ago was that?
Oh man, probably like 7-8 years ago-ish, I would say, 6.
Right around the time we met,
Yeah.
Did
actually.
you contact your church then?
No. No, I did not. I didn't do any of those fancy steps. I just dealt with it. It's-
You're lucky though, honestly. Like I feel like you had a way better outcome than.
I had a way better outcome, yeah. It was 2 days of misery, and then kind of like you would just be walking somewhere, driving somewhere, and you would just see him standing there staring at you. And it was kind of like, like, just don't look, don't say anything, just keep going, it'll
That's how
fine.
I feel like when I go to Target and I see somebody I know.
Like, yeah, it's exactly that same feeling of like, oh, nope.
I'm like,
That
avoid eye
sounds-
contact. I don't want to deal with awkward conversation. Just keep
That is
moving.
scary shit. Well, like I feel like I get paranoid. So like even when I go to bed and I'm hearing things that just don't sound like just like normal sounds, like if I have like the fan on or something, I'm like, just ignore it.
Jeez.
Don't
Well, duh.
acknowledge
Yeah,
it.
you just
Or, like,
ignore
you
it.
instantly
Sorry.
get scared and like I want to turn all my lights on, but I'm like, I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, everything will be fine.
But I will do this thing where I notice, like, when it's dark, I'll, like, look at the TV or I'll look at something I can see reflection on. And, like, I'll make something out because I'm so paranoid. And I'm like, there's something there. I'm like, oh, wait, that's just, like, the outline of my cup that's been sitting there for a while. But still, I get so spooked out.
Yeah. It always made me think, it was, like, probably like a solid, like, week where I was like, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm absolutely going insane.
But then your other friends saw it.
Yeah, until they saw it. And then it has people who are like real religious can feel it as well.
I don't know if any of you watch or listen to our producer's podcast. It's called Beers and Bowl. The host is Cole Blenner with his co-host Andrew Pribble, who is actually more so good friend of yours than, like, because you've been friends with him forever.
Since middle school.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah. And Pribble is one of those people that can sense it.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to take it to where I used to work. We worked together, and I used to hide it in different places, and he would come in and he'd be able to find it, like, instantly. He just always knew where it was at. He would never touch it, but he always knew exactly where it was.
Crazy shit.
It's an interesting
Crazy.
story.
How
Yeah.
those things just carry with you. But it's good
Yeah.
that you haven't seen it for a long time.
Yeah,
now.
it's crazy how just 2 pages can all of a sudden be this 2-month-long journey.
See, it's like different, but with my sister, so she played with the Ouija board, and like as I was mentioning before, like she would try to throw it out, and it always end up back in her closet, and she did that when she was a teenager. And so what I noticed with her is every house that she's moved into, there's been something that we can all feel, we can all sense. And for a period in time, it's like my mom would always just be like, oh, it's just like you need to sage the house. You need to, like, she'd put up these like red squares in front of every doorway, and like she'd pray over the house and everything. And I was just like, in my head, I'm like, maybe this is working, maybe it's fine. But then it was weird because every house that my sister moved into, she would have this reoccurring dream where she would be in this house and it was just like abandoned and broken down, and like she would hear things like, help me, get me out of here. And she would lift up a rug, and under that rug there would be like a bunch of kids, and she couldn't make out their faces, but they were like trapped trying to get out. And so it was like after she played with that Ouija board, and every time they moved into a new house, she would have that same dream, and there'd be always something there. And there was one night where she lived in this like smaller town, moved in, and she was working like a graveyard shift, like as a server, and I was watching the kids, and they were like all asleep, and I go into her room, and it's like completely dark, like completely black, and her TV's not plugged in. It was literally sitting. It's like one of those like old, what do they call them? Like projector looking TVs. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, so it was like unplugged. It was older, and it was just sitting on her dresser, and all of a sudden it turned, like it was plugged in, and the static came on, and I was like, holy shit. So I ran over, turned on the lights, unplugged the TV, left the lights on, went like back to my bed, and I'm like trying to stay calm. The lights turned off, but it was weird because it was dark, but I still could feel like there was something like darker than, and like it was just kind of like going around like the walls. And Tommy would wake up like having nightmares, like freaking out, like as if something was like choking her. And so when I told her about that, she was like, that's what like choked me in my sleep the other night. And I was like, what the hell like is going on here? Like, I would move out, and she's like, no, I can't do anything about it. It happens every like,
No,
like it's
just
normal. Like, I'm like, this is not normal.
Yeah,
This is
the
not
norm.
okay.
It's the only way I can sleep now.
Yeah, so it would always freak me out. I'm like, I never want to stay in your house by myself because I will end up dead. Like, this is it for me. Like, I don't know how your kids
I will
don't
be
feel it, but like,
possessed.
yeah, it's crazy. But that, and she's just completely like, she's gotten content with it because she's like, well, like, and she's not afraid of it. But it's like every house she's got into, there's always been something weird going on. She used to live in Keystone in this trailer. And I remember I was freaking out because Dayton at the time, like her oldest son, I think he was like 3, and he had his own room, and he came in the living room crying, like freaking out. And she's like, what's wrong? And he kept saying like, she won't share. And there was like this little girl that he'd play toys with in his room that he could see. And then there was one night where it was her kids' dad, his sister. We were all watching a movie, and his sister started freaking out. And they're like, what's going on? And she's just like, I just saw this little girl with blonde hair creeping like by the TV. And Tommy was just like, oh, that's, yep. Like Tommy's like, yep, that's one of the spirits here.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Everything's
no,
fine.
no. And I start crying, like, have mom pick me up. And she's like, no, you're staying the night. And they all went to bed. And Tommy's like sleeping in the living room with me, and she falls asleep,
Dude,
and
no
I'm
wonder
wide awake.
Taylor is so fucking
I know,
tough.
right? And so I like woke up, and I didn't wake up. I was already awake, but I was just like, Tommy, don't fall asleep. Tommy, don't fall asleep. And she's like, you're fine. And all of a sudden, like, I'm laying there watching a movie, and it sounded like a shit ton of garbage bags, like had a whole bunch of cans, and somebody was just going like this back and forth. And I turn around because the living room is right next to the kitchen, and I was like, there's nothing there. So I woke Tommy up, and Tommy's like, what? And I told her, and so she's like, everything's fine. And then she heard it, so she turned around and she went and got her kids' dad, and he came out, and he was like, what? And she's like, were you doing this? Like, this isn't funny. He's like, there's literally nothing in my room, and there's nothing in the garbage. Like, we went in his room, looked, saw nothing, and then it happened again. And then I was like, I'm leaving now. And I forced my mom to come drive to Keystone to pick me up because I was like, I'm too scared. But it was just like,
Well,
how does all that stuff happen? Like, everywhere you move, like, that's
Isn't
creepy.
Keystone like kind of super haunted?
Some places.
Mhm.
It's a pretty old town, so.
But
They
yeah,
got some cool stuff
I
there.
couldn't live that comfortably, but I mean, if you're constantly dealing with that, I guess you get a little used to it.
Yeah.
I'm being haunted. It's fine.
It's
Yeah,
just
it's
something
okay.
you got to get used to. Everyone's got to go through
It's part
it.
of the family now.
It builds character.
Don't say that. Part of the family.
part of the
That's
family.
funny. Well, Corey, do you have anything that you want to plug at all?
Come see me down at Sahara Nights Hookah Lounge. And continue watching these two. They're amazing. Every episode you need to watch.
Do you have anything that you do, like any events that go on down at Sahara Nights?
We'll be doing a party October 30th. It's a Halloween party down there.
Those are
It's a
always fun.
Twisted Wonderland party, which will be a cool Alice in Wonderland horror twist on everything.
Love it.
We do karaoke every Thursday at 9, trivia every Friday at 9, and Bingo.
Bingo.
Bingo's the biggest one.
Bingo.
Bingo
Bingo
every
was
Saturday
his
at
memo.
9, all until midnight.
And what can you win at bingo that I have been trying to win for the past 3 weeks?
If you can achieve blackout on one of the 2 jackpot rounds for bingo, you get your own hookah to take home.
And how much does one of those hookahs usually cost?
About $250
Oh,
that
yeah.
you just get to
Not
take home for
cheap.
free.
Not cheap.
Good
It's a
ass
good time.
quality, though.
Someone's
Good
about
ass
to win
quality.
soon, too.
And I have been gypped. Not this last weekend. This last weekend was rough for me, but the first 2 weekends that I got back into playing, now that I have Saturday nights off from my job because of this, I literally almost got the small jackpot 2 weekends in a row. Both the weekends you were gone, of course.
Of course, yeah.
So you're my bad luck charm, I think. But I won blackout, right?
Yeah.
But I won it 2 numbers away from
Still won.
jackpot. I still won, but I didn't win the prize that I wanted.
See, at least you can win. I can't win anything.
It's not my fault you work there. Yes, by the way, our co-host also works at Sahara Nights Hookah Lounge, so obviously we have to plug because we have to show support. So,
Story time.
I think that is it. Thank you for listening
Thanks
to
for
our
Corey.
very, very, very first episode that we are
Yes.
broadcasting. Hopefully, everything went well, and we are premiering this on our release date of October 13th.
Mhm.
That should be today.
Thanks, Corey, for coming on. It
Yes.
was a pleasure. It was
Anytime.
so much
Thank
fun.
you, Corey, for
Anytime.
enlightening us.
Now I'm a
on...
little scared.
Yeah, yeah, right. Maybe Corey shouldn't read. Until next time, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.